How's it going, everybody? Thank you for watching another video, and welcome back to part 3 and the final video of a 3-part series where we're having a closer look at solar generators that you can use in your RV or in your home in a grid down situation. Now, if you haven't had a chance to check out those other videos, I'll leave a link for it right up here so you guys can check it out. But what I want to do tonight in this final video is wrap everything up and give you some final thoughts on the things I learned about solar generators. And of course, guys, if you want to purchase any of the items mentioned in this video, make sure you check the links in the description below. Alright, so let's start off with an overview here. The information I'm giving you is pretty much going to be the same whether you're building your own solar system or if you're buying a portable generator like this one. And number 2, what I'm really doing is just summarizing all of the information that I've researched over the past month. If you really want to geek out and really know technical specifications for everything I'm talking about, check the description. I got some links of some YouTubers that are really good. Alright, so the first question somebody might ask is, why would I want to buy a portable solar generator like this versus buying each individual piece and putting them together? So the first big answer is convenience. This is basically plug and go. Now this is 160 watts. I've seen them go all the way up until like 2000 plus watts. But it's very easy. You don't have to know a lot about wiring, and it's basically the best plug and go option you have. Now, because these portable generators are so easy to use, they're also very flexible. So let's say there's a power outage in your house. You just grab the generator from your car, get your solar panels, charge it up, and plug it into your appliances in the house. So no matter what size you get, from 160 all the way up to 2000 plus watts, the 3 major components outside of the solar panel are already in here, and they're going to be the controller, the inverter, and the batteries. Now there are some downsides. When you go and purchase every individual piece, if one breaks, you just pull it out and replace it with another one, and it's a lot easier to upgrade. If this portable solar generator goes bad, you kind of just got to buy a whole new one. So again, pros and cons. Alright, so the first thing I learned about using this solar generator is you can't leave the unit in direct sunlight. There was 2 things that happened. When I had it facing the sun, the LCD display just totally blacked out. I had to bring it back in so I could read it. After a few seconds, the crystals kind of unstuck themselves and you could read it. The second thing is it totally shut off. Right around, I would say 10 o'clock in the morning, I think it was 113 degrees. By the time I put the gun on, it was about 108 degrees. So it shut off and it wasn't charging. So of course, after the Explorer 160 shut down, I decided to read the user manual. Sure enough, in here it says operating temperatures range between 32 degrees and 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't put it in direct sunlight, which could be really bad if you're in the desert or in hot places like out here in Nevada or Arizona. Alright, next up, just briefly going over the 4 major components in your solar system. Number 1, panels. So you got your monocrystalline and your polycrystalline. It seems that a majority of the people like monocrystalline, they're smaller and more efficient, but the jury is out on that one. I've seen some tests on YouTube that they're pretty much the same. The polycrystallines are a little bit bigger, but they're a little bit less expensive. Next up in the chain is going to be your controller. There's basically 2 types on the market. You got your PWM and your MPPT. Now all you got to know is the MPPT controller is going to be able to use energy a lot more efficiently. The Explorer 160 has the PWM, but the new Explorer 300 has the newer version in there, and for that reason I would recommend getting the Explorer 300 over the Explorer 160. Next up, you got your power inverters, and I've only ever seen 2 out there. You got your modified sine and your pure sine. All you got to know is that the pure sine inverters work a lot better. And again, in the Explorer 160 you have a modified sine, but in the Explorer 300 you have a pure sine inverter. Go with that one. And the last of your 4 major components that you got to worry about for your solar system are your batteries. Now I've seen 3 common types of batteries out there, and I'm sure that there's more, but here are the 3 common ones I've seen. Of course, number 1, your flooded lead acid batteries. Then you got your AGM batteries, followed by your lithium ion batteries. Now, of course, the type of battery you're using is going to depend on the voltage system you're using. It's either going to be 12 volts or 24 volts. But when you're looking at the batteries, they're kind of rated by cycles. Like how many times can this battery run a system? Like let's say 500 cycles, where it goes from top all the way to bottom. And of course, it's not any surprise that the more expensive the battery is, the more cycles you're going to get. And it's going to be the lithium ion batteries. Now, just because you go through the 500 cycles or 1,000 or 2,000 cycles doesn't mean you lose all of the charge, but it will go down to 80%. So you lose 20%, but the batteries are still good. And finally, let me wrap it up with some little things that I noticed. For example, number one, the inverter does make a little bit of a sound, and depending on how big your power inverter is, might make a louder sound. So that combined with maybe whatever you're running, like your refrigerator, depending on how you sleep, might be an issue. But of course, they're going to be a billion times less noisy and stinky than a gas generator. Now, the second small thing I noticed is just how directionally sensitive the solar panels were. So let's say the sun is kind of hanging out right here and the panels are lying flat like this. I raised up the panel and it jumped up between 15 to 20 watts. So depending on how large of a system you're running, you could be missing a lot of wattage depending on what direction your panels are facing. And the last thing I want to mention is try to go with a company that has offices here in the United States like Jackery, because the last thing you want to do is pack up a 120 watt solar panel or a 1,000 watt generator and send it back to China. Well, alright guys, that is the ending of our 3-part series. Remember to check out those other channels if you really want to geek out and get more information. Also, if you want to purchase any of the products mentioned in this video, make sure you check the links in the description below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please give it the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to Chemo365, please do. Remember, I'll catch you guys laters.